Hey guys, are you looking for a jacket that is great for high intensity activities in the cold that also will allow you to not overheat? Maybe something that's a great mid-layer that's extra breathable. If so, you want to check out these two jackets, the Arcteryx Proton LT versus the Arcteryx Atom LT. That's next. Welcome to Backcountry Renegade. I'm Jeff. Today we actually have a subscriber requested video, and that's a jacket battle review between the Arcteryx Proton LT and the Arcteryx Atom LT. You know, both these jackets are of synthetic insulation. They're both very breathable. They're great for high output activities in cold weather, such as skiing, snowboarding, backpacking, maybe even trail running in the cold if you're into that. These jackets are great for that. They're also good to be used as a mid-layer underneath a shell. So these are great jackets. There's a lot of similarities between these two, so it actually is a good review to do, but there are a few differences worth noting. So we're going to compare and contrast these two jackets and see what might be the better jacket for you. Let's go. Now the Proton LT is a newer addition to the growing line of jackets from Arcteryx, and it brings newer technology to the field in the active layer department. It provides warmth but also excellent breathability while also bringing some much needed durability with the outer shell. This is an excellent option for those who are more geared towards climbing and mountaineering, so it's more abrasion resistance. It retails for $2.99, and it is also comes in multiple sizes and color options. It can come in a hooded version like what you see here, or a non-hooded version. The LT in the name stands for lightweight. Looking at the Atom LT, also notice the LT in the name stands for lightweight. The Atom LT has been a staple of Arcteryx for a long time. It's a lightweight insulated jacket and one of their classic layers, mid-layers that they have. It was released years before the Proton LT, and it's gone through a few alterations over the years. It currently retails for $2.59, but you can often find it on sale. It also comes in multiple sizes and colors, actually a lot more variety of colors than you can find with the Proton. It also comes in a hoodless version or the hood version like you see here. It's gone through some revisions over the years, but these are the latest versions as of 2020. This can be used as a mid-layer, a standalone jacket, also for alpine activities. It can retain warmth, but it's breathable through the side panels, as we will discuss. So both these jackets are good for a wide range of activities where you're exerting a lot of effort. But let's look at some of the similarities here as we get started. Both these jackets can either stand as a standalone jacket in cool weather, but they can also be active layers in cold weather. You can even use them as a mid-layer underneath a shell. Both these jackets are relatively lightweight. They're also synthetic insulation, so they're good even in moist and wet conditions. Both these jackets are very breathable, and they can let out hot air as you exert effort. They both have hoods, elastic cuffs, and a pretty handy zipper, as we will see. The shell's also covered with DWR finish, so they can repel water to an extent, but they are not completely waterproof. Now let's look at a few of the differences here. First, the Proton LT. The outer shell fabric is the Arcteryx Fortress Air 40 fabric. It's air permeable to prevent any overheating while you're on the move, but it's also wind resistant and water repellent. It can also repel snow as well. Now, the outer shell does have really good breathability as well, so it can block wind, but it also breathes out the warm air. The fabric is also coated with a DWR finish to repel water and light rain. The 40 denier on the outside provides great durability from abrasion, yet it's still soft and a bit stretchy. So very comfortable while you're wearing it. It's 92% nylon and 8% elastane, so it provides some nice stretch for movements as you're reaching for holds and climbing up mountains. So really the Proton LT is kind of a specialty jacket geared towards those who are really going through harsh environments like mountains and scraping through rocks and trees. It's built to hold up. Now compare that to the Atom LT. The outer fabric of the Atom LT is an Arcteryx specialized fabric called Toino 20 denier. It does a good job of blocking some of the wind while also being a bit breathable. It is soft, it's not as stretchy as, let's say, the Proton, and it's also not as durable as the Proton since it's a thinner denier. The fabric is also coated with a DWR finish, so it can repel light rain and brief rain showers as well. So it's water repellent to an extent. Also, it maintains the breathability primarily through the side panels, so a bit different from the Proton, where the Proton's more breathable all over. This one is breathable mainly through the side panels. Let's talk about the insulation. The Proton uses 80 grams of Corloff compact, and that's a good insulation that is more compact, so it retains warmth, but it also provides very good air permeability as well. Now the Atom LT has changed this year to also use Corloff compact synthetic insulation. In previous years it was a bit different, so this is the newest version, and it's meant to release a little bit more air than it has in the past. Now it's 60 grams of Corloff compact. This covers the front, the back, the arms, and the hood. The insulation as this one is more compact, so it still provides sufficient warmth, but it allows it to work as a mid layer, so it's a little more thinner than it was in previous years. Now you also have side panels. These are Polartec fleece, which does not provide as much warmth. It's allowing air to go through and out through those side panels. Let's talk about the liner inside. So the liner inside for both of them are the same. It's the Dope Preemi Air. The air permeable liner is in conjunction with the insulation as it regulates a comfortable microclimate inside. So it's soft to the touch of the skin as well. And it's a dope dyed 20 denier liner inside. So dope dyed is pretty neat. It's just meant to say it's more environmentally friendly process to get the colors in here. And so it's a process that uses less chemicals and less water in the dyeing process. Let's talk about the weight. The current Proton LT and the Atom LT actually weigh the same. In the past, the Atom LT was far heavier, but now in the 2020 version, it's about the same. They're both 375 grams or 13.2 ounces, and it's because they're using very similar insulation now, and there's some things that kind of offset the weights, but for different reasons, but they are the same weight. Also, let's talk about the breathability. We did mention that the Proton is going to be more breathable. Now, if you're familiar with the Nano Air, you can watch my videos here if you want to check them out, the Proton versus Nano Air or the Atom LT versus the Nano Air, and kind of see my comparison. If you're looking at it on a spectrum as far as air permeability, the Nano Air is by far the more breathable of the three jackets, followed then by the Proton LT, then the Atom LT. So the Proton is kind of like the mid level there as far as breathability. It's a good mixture of breathability, durability, and warmth. So just to give you a spectrum there. So the Proton is more breathable of the two, where the Atom LT is mainly breathable through the fleece side panels, not so much through the front and back. So if breathability is the most important factor for you, out of these two jackets at least, the Proton is going to be the more breathable. Let's talk about warmth. Now, the Proton LT is not really known for its warmth. It's known for its breathability and function and durability. So while you're standing still, if you're not moving, if you're not active, the Proton LT in cool and cold conditions can feel a lot colder than the Atom LT. Now, the Atom LT, if you're just going to use this as a standalone jacket, it will be slightly warmer than the Proton, and it's much more warmer than the Nano Air if you're just going to be standing still. Now, again, these are made to be active. But the slide fleece panels here actually become a disadvantage in windy and cold conditions, as it's going to let a lot colder air in and you can get chills a lot easier. But because it doesn't bring in a lot of air or let out a lot of air from the front or the back, it's actually warmer than the Proton, which is more breathable all around. So out of these two jackets, the Atom is going to be the warmer of the two. Let's talk about the zippers. Now, they both use the same zipper technology, and if you've seen the previous videos I did on each of these, you can actually see that this is a free-flowing zipper from the sternum down. So what that means is it's free flowing by if you apply tension on the sides, it's just going to naturally open. And that's for a function. You can see that the Proton does the same thing. The reason is if you're climbing, if you have any kind of tight pressure or anything on the jacket, rather than the zipper breaking, it's going to allow it to release some pressure by opening. So that's a good thing. But once you go above the sternum, it actually is called a no-slip zip, which means there's actually like speed bumps here, which slow it down and stop it from falling loose. So if you have your zipper all the way up and then you want to zip it a little bit down, you can see how it stops and you have those speed bumps. But once you get below the sternum, it will do the free flowing. And you can see the Proton is the same way. Once you open it, you have those bumps and then it opens all the way. So that's a neat feature. It actually protects the jacket. It isn't coming apart. It isn't falling down. It's not a dysfunctional zipper. It's actually made that way. Another thing to notice is the Atom actually has a little bit more of a flap behind the zipper. And this is as a way to block out any wind from penetrating through the zipper. Now, the Proton has it slightly, but it's on both sides. It's mainly to block it through the stitching, not so much through the zipper here. So the Proton in the front, you're going to have a little bit less breathability and more wind blockage. Then you will have over here, you're going to have more breathability through the front through that. So let's talk about the side pockets. Both these jackets have two external pockets down below for your hands. Now, the cool thing is they are both kind of raised a little higher, so they're both made so you can wear a harness and it's not going to interfere with the pockets. So they're both raised a little bit, which allows you to use it. Now, the cool thing about the Atom is the pockets are actually have a little fleece lining inside, where if you look at the Proton, it's just that shell material. It's just a liner material. So this will make your hands a little bit more warmer here. If you're not wearing gloves, you can put your hands in your pockets. You'll be a bit warmer with the Atom LT. Also, let's talk about the chest pocket. Now, obviously, you can't see any chest pocket here on the Atom LT, and that's because the chest pocket is inside. So you have an inside chest pocket here, which you can open, put keys or a card or anything like that in there. Now, the Proton LT does not have that on the inside, and the reason is because it's on the outside. You have that kind of Napoleon pocket here. Now, I actually prefer it on the outside here, and you can put chapstick, keys, anything like that, maps. It's really just a personal preference, but I like having it here rather than having to open my jacket just to get to that pocket. It's right there on the outside as well. Let's consider the cuffs. Both these cuffs are very similar. They're a four-way stretch that Arcteryx has here. And basically they're very comfortable, they're soft, and they have some elastane in them. Now you can see here there's a little bit more elastic here on the Proton, which allows it to be slightly more stretchable than the Atom LT, but both work really well as well. And they both allow you to put your cuff over a glove and stretch, and it's going to keep the warm air inside. Now let's look at the hoods here. The hoods here are very similar. You can see that they both have more of a traditional type of hood rather than the Nano Air, which had that weird scuba hood. The hood is insulated on both these jackets. They both have this little brim in the front here so that you can stretch it and make it nice and easy. On here they have both locking stretch cords, cinch cords, so if you're not wearing like a helmet or anything, you can cinch it down and make it smaller to go around your head. But these are helmet compatible hoods. They actually go over the helmet, which is pretty cool. And that way you can use it over the helmet and you can turn your head from side to side and it turns with your head. So reinforced brim here that helps you bring the hood over the helmet and helps it stay on there, and it's also helpful to take it off as well. Now let's talk about compression. Unlike the Nano Air which can compress into its inner pocket, these will not compress into the inner pocket. But just to give you an idea here what you can compress it to, you can compress these somewhat small here, but these aren't the most compressible jackets. So just something to keep in mind if you're looking for compressibility. These will compress, but these are about relatively the same. They're gonna compress about the same here as well, and they're just not the most compressible jacket if you're looking to store them. So if travel and compressibility is the biggest thing, these are relatively the same and will not compress too much, but it's not like they're super bulky where you can't go without them. Now let's talk about the fit. Both these have the classic Arcteryx fit. And Arcteryx is known to have a really good slim trim fit. And these jackets are no different. They both fit excellent. And for me, actually, the Proton seems a bit trimmer, and it actually fits me much better than the Atom LT in my opinion. Let's talk about the cinch cords. Both these jackets have cinch cords so you can close the outer area to prevent any cold air from getting in and warm air from escaping. Now on the Atom LT, it's kind of on the rear facing area, where on the Proton, it's more in the front facing area. But you have two areas where you can pull the cinch and tighten the end of your jacket. This is an upgrade from the previous Atom version, which only had one cinch cord. Now, a few additional features just to mention. As you can tell, the Arcteryx Atom LT has the Arcteryx logo that's embroidered. It looks really high quality, really nice. Where on the Atom LT, it's actually kind of stamped on. Now, I would have really preferred that the Proton LT would have stitched it in. It would have looked a lot higher quality in my opinion, but that's just really a personal preference. All right, so concluding thoughts. Who won the jacket battle for me? Well, these jackets are both really great. There's a lot of similarities between the two, but for me, I have to go with the Arcteryx Proton LT. And for me, this jacket is one of the most comfortable jackets I have ever worn. Now that's saying something because I've worn a lot of different jackets, tested a lot of jackets, but this one here just fits me great. It's comfortable. It has those extra articulated arms for climbing. It is really good and breathable, so it's not going to overheat. One of the cons I didn't like about the Atom LT, really, to be honest, and it's what sets that one apart, is those side panels. I wasn't a big fan of those fleece side panels. Now, while these have a lot of things in common, the Proton LT does not have those side panels. So this was just the best of both worlds, breathable, but also really good for activities as well. But it's not gonna let in those cold air through those side panels if you get a gust of wind that comes through. And there's also a lot more pros that outweighed the cons, which is another reason why I went with the Proton LT. So let's just think of a few of those pros. Now, the first pro of the Proton LT, no pun intended, is actually the outer material. The outer material, though being soft, though being stretchable, is actually more durable than the Atom LT. So this is actually made with kind of mountaineers and mountain climbers in mind. So it's more abrasion resistant. It's not going to puncture in holes as much as compared to the Atom LT. So something really to consider. These are both really good jackets when it comes to getting out there and climbing and stuff. They're both integrated with those higher pockets for the harness that you can wear. But this one just has a little bit better outer shell. That's also really good when it comes to winds that come through. Even though they're very breathable, this is going to do a better job about blocking some of those higher winds, especially since it doesn't have those side panels here. You're not going to have that wind blow into your jacket and create a bunch of cold air coming in. Where the Atom LT, it does have that with those fleece side panels. Another pro about the Atom LT is this really cool Napoleon pocket that you have here. You can actually put little things in here, chapstick, keys, maybe a card. Really cool to have this little extra pocket here on the outer side of the jacket where you do not have that with the Atom LT. Another pro about the Proton LT, and this is maybe nitpicking a little bit, is these cuffs are actually a lot more elastic than you have in the Atom LT. You have, the Atom LT still uses the same idea, except you have a little bit less material at certain areas. And so this does a really good job of sealing in the warm air in your arms while still being a little bit loose to grab holds and stuff as you're climbing. Another pro about the Proton LT is you have a little bit more material in the elbow area in the arms. So as you climb up to reach holds and stuff, the sleeves aren't going up on you like you would a typical jacket. So it allows you to have a little bit extra material so you can reach and not have to worry about sleeves going up, which allows you to stay warm. Now let's consider the cons. The first con about the Proton LT is it's pricier than the Atom LT. It is a little bit pricier because you are getting a little higher end outer denier layer here on the outside, and so you do pay a little bit more. It's a little newer technology, and when you compare the Proton LT and the Atom LT together, the Atom LT has been along for a long time, and the Proton has been kind of that one that comes with bringing newer technology, newer materials to compete with actually the Nano Air. And so in my comparisons, maybe to check out the video here, you can check out the Proton versus Nano Air and the Atom versus Nano Air and kind of see some of the differences there as you compare those three. Another con about the Proton LT is it seems to be a little bit colder of a jacket when you're just standing still compared to the Atom LT. This is going to be more breathable than the Atom LT, and so it's going to feel colder. Now, this is meant for high output activities, running, jogging, snowboarding, things like that, so it's going to be more breathable. But when you are standing still, the Atom LT will be your warmer of the jacket. Another con about the Proton LT is while it's a very high quality jacket, they actually just kind of stamped the logo on the chest rather than sewing it in or embroidering it in like they did with the Atom LT, which I think would have really made it a lot higher end feeling for that. So I would have loved to see that, but hopefully this doesn't rub off. So what did you think of these two jackets? Who won the jacket battle for you? Was it the Arcteryx Atom LT or was it the Arcteryx Proton LT? Leave me a comment in the comments section. Let me know which one you would prefer to go with and why. Also, if you want to see more jacket battle content like this, make sure to subscribe. Give me a thumbs up as well. And feel free to leave me a comment to see what jackets you would like to see compete against each other. Anyways, I appreciate your time for watching and I hope this was helpful. And as always, thanks for watching.